The Halloween murder. 5 immigrants entered a haunted house. Only one came out a killer. Imagine arriving in a new country during Halloween, not understanding that some houses are decorated and some are genuinely dangerous. Imagine 5 young immigrants entering what they thought was a haunted attraction, only to discover it was a trap set by a robber who preyed on trick-or-treaters. Imagine that in the chaos of being attacked, one of them killed the assailant in self-defense. But which one? For 1 year, the secret remained buried. Then, at a family barbecue, the 5 friends reunited and began accusing each other. This is the story of a Halloween night that ended in murder, a year of silence, and the moment when guilt finally forced the truth into the light. The immigrants arrive in Florida. It was October 1st, 2023, when 5 families arrived in Miami, Florida, from different parts of the world, all connected by the same corporate transfer program. 3 families came from England. 2 families came from Argentina. They were all wealthy business executives who had been transferred to manage operations for a multinational corporation with offices throughout the southeastern United States. The families settled in a wealthy suburb called Coral Springs, located north of Miami in Broward County. Coral Springs was known for its excellent schools, its safe neighborhoods, and its family-friendly atmosphere. The houses were large, the lawns were manicured, the streets were clean and orderly. It was the kind of place where people raised children and built comfortable lives. Among these families were 5 teenagers, all 18 years old, all in their final year of secondary school before university. Their names were Emma Thornton, Sophie Caldwell, Thomas Ashford, Lucas Martinez, and Diego Ramirez. Emma, Sophie, and Thomas were from England. Lucas and Diego were from Argentina. None of them had experienced an American Halloween before. In England, Halloween was celebrated, but not with the intensity and scale that Americans brought to the holiday. In Argentina, Halloween was even less prominent, often overshadowed by other cultural celebrations. So when October arrived in Florida, and the 5 teenagers saw houses being decorated with elaborate displays, animatronics, fog machines, and life-sized monsters, they were fascinated. The families became close quickly. The parents worked together at the same corporate offices. The teenagers attended the same private school. They studied together, ate lunch together, and gradually formed a tight friendship group despite coming from different countries and speaking different languages at home. Emma Thornton was the most outgoing of the 5. She had blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and a personality that drew people to her. She was the one who organized group activities and convinced everyone to participate in new experiences. She was fearless and curious about everything American culture had to offer. Sophie Caldwell was quieter than Emma, but equally intelligent. She had brown hair, green eyes, and a thoughtful demeanor. She was studying advanced mathematics and physics and planned to attend university to study engineering. She was methodical and analytical, always thinking several steps ahead. Thomas Ashford was athletic and charming. He had dark hair, brown eyes, and the build of someone who played sports seriously. He was on the school football team, which Americans called soccer, and was being recruited by several universities. He was confident and sometimes arrogant, but genuinely loyal to his friends. Lucas Martinez was artistic and sensitive. He had black hair, dark eyes, and a creative spirit. He loved photography and spent hours capturing images of Florida's landscapes and urban environments. He was the most emotionally expressive of the group, often sharing poetry and philosophical observations. Diego Ramirez was the intellectual. He had light brown hair, hazel eyes, and wore glasses. He was studying computer science and planned to work in technology. He was logical and precise, often serving as the voice of reason when the group considered risky activities. These 5 teenagers spent September and early October exploring their new home. They went to the beach. They explored Miami's diverse neighborhoods. They attended school football games and tried American fast food. They were adjusting to their new lives and enjoying the adventure of being in a foreign country. Then came mid-October, when the Halloween decorations began appearing in full force. The neighborhood transformed. Houses that had been ordinary suddenly became elaborate displays of horror and fantasy. Some houses featured graveyards with realistic tombstones and skeletons climbing out of the ground. Other houses had giant spiders covering the facade. Some houses had projection screens showing ghostly figures moving through windows. The most elaborate displays attracted crowds of people who drove through the neighborhood just to see them. Emma was fascinated. "We have to do something special for Halloween," she said to the group one afternoon as they sat together at lunch. "This is our first American Halloween. We need to make it memorable." "What do you want to do?" Sophie asked. "I want to go trick-or-treating," Emma said. "I know we are 18 and technically too old, but I do not care. I want to experience it properly." Thomas laughed. "You want to dress up in costumes and go door to door asking for candy?" "Exactly," Emma said. "It is ridiculous and childish, and I want to do it." Lucas agreed immediately. "I think it sounds fun. We should document it. I will bring my camera." Diego was more hesitant. "Are we not too old for trick-or-treating? Will people not think it is strange?" "Who cares what they think?" Emma said. "We are foreigners. We get to be curious about everything. It is our excuse." Sophie finally agreed. "I suppose it could be interesting, but we need good costumes. We cannot just wear cheap masks." The 5 friends spent the next 2 weeks planning their Halloween night. They purchased elaborate costumes from a specialty shop. Emma dressed as a vampire queen with a flowing black dress and dramatic makeup. Sophie dressed as a Victorian ghost with pale makeup and tattered white clothing. Thomas dressed as a werewolf with a realistic fur costume and prosthetic claws. Lucas dressed as a plague doctor with an authentic-looking beaked mask and dark robes. Diego dressed as a mad scientist with wild hair, goggles, and a lab coat covered in fake bloodstains. On October 31st, 2023, the 5 friends met at Emma's house at 7 in the evening. The sun was setting. The temperature was warm, around 25 degrees Celsius, which was much warmer than Halloween in England, but felt appropriate for Florida. The neighborhood was already buzzing with activity. Families with young children were walking from house to house. Groups of teenagers were roaming in packs. The streets were filled with laughter and excitement. The 5 friends began their trick-or-treating adventure. They went from house to house collecting candy and enjoying the elaborate decorations. Most homeowners were amused by the fact that 18-year-olds were trick-or-treating, but the costumes were impressive enough that people played along and gave them candy. By 9 in the evening, they had collected substantial amounts of candy and had seen most of the decorated houses in their immediate neighborhood. That was when Emma made the suggestion that would change everything. "I heard there is a house a few streets over that is supposed to be incredibly scary," Emma said. "Someone at school told me about it. Apparently the owner goes all out with decorations and scares people who come to the door." "Where is it?" Thomas asked. "Maple Street," Emma said. "Number 1234 Maple Street." Pause here and consider. Have you already begun to suspect which of the 5 friends might be the one who eventually commits murder? Are you paying attention to their personalities and how they might react under pressure? The house on Maple Street. Maple Street was 3 blocks away from where the 5 friends had been trick-or-treating. It was in a slightly older part of the neighborhood, where the houses were not as well maintained and the lots were larger with more overgrown vegetation. The street lighting was dimmer. The atmosphere was noticeably different from the cheerful, well-lit streets where young families lived. As the 5 friends walked toward number 1234, they noticed that the Halloween activity decreased with each block. Fewer children were out. Fewer houses had decorations. By the time they reached Maple Street, they were the only people visible on the sidewalk. "Are you sure this is the right street?" Diego asked, looking around nervously. "This is what I was told," Emma said, checking her phone for the address. They walked down Maple Street, passing several dark houses with no decorations. Then they saw it. Number 1234. The house was set back from the street, partially hidden by overgrown trees and untrimmed hedges. It was a single-story ranch-style house with peeling paint and a sagging roof. The yard was not decorated with Halloween decorations in the traditional sense. Instead, it looked genuinely abandoned and decaying. There was a rusted car in the driveway. The windows were covered with tattered curtains. The porch had broken boards and scattered debris, but the front door was open. Not fully open, but ajar, as if inviting people to enter. "That is creepy," Sophie said, stopping on the sidewalk. "It looks abandoned," Lucas said, raising his camera to take a photograph. "Maybe that is the point," Emma said. "Maybe it is supposed to look abandoned to make it scarier." Thomas walked closer to the house, peering at the open door. "I can hear something inside. It sounds like music or voices." Diego listened carefully. There was indeed sound coming from inside the house. It was faint and distorted, but it sounded like Halloween-themed music or sound effects. "Someone is definitely in there," Diego said. "It must be part of the attraction." Emma was excited. "We should go in. This is exactly the kind of thing we came out here to experience." "I do not know," Sophie said hesitantly. "It feels wrong. What if it is actually abandoned, and we are trespassing?" "The door is open," Emma argued. "That means we are invited. Come on, do not be scared." Thomas was already walking toward the porch. "I am going in. Anyone who wants to stay outside can wait." Lucas followed Thomas. "I want to get photographs of whatever is inside." Emma joined them immediately, leaving Sophie and Diego standing on the sidewalk. Sophie looked at Diego. "Should we go with them?" Diego felt deeply uncomfortable, but he did not want to be the only one who stayed outside. "I suppose we should stay together, but if anything feels dangerous, we leave immediately." Sophie agreed, and the two of them walked toward the house to join the other three. The 5 friends stood on the porch. The boards creaked under their weight. The sound effects were louder now, coming from somewhere deep inside the house. It sounded like moaning and chains rattling. Typical Halloween ambiance. Thomas pushed the door open wider. "Hello? Is anyone here? Can we come in?" No response. Emma stepped through the doorway first. The interior of the house was dark except for a few dim lights that flickered irregularly. The air smelled musty and unpleasant, like mold and decay. The furniture was old and covered in dust. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling, though it was unclear if they were real or decorations. "This is incredibly realistic," Emma said, her voice filled with admiration. "Whoever set this up is committed to the aesthetic." The others followed her inside. Lucas was taking photographs with his camera, capturing the eerie atmosphere. Thomas was examining the room, looking for animatronics or hidden speakers. Sophie and Diego stayed close to the door, ready to leave if necessary. They moved deeper into the house, entering what appeared to be a living room. There was a couch with torn upholstery, a television that was not working, and several pieces of broken furniture scattered around. The Halloween sound effects were coming from a speaker in the corner playing on a loop. "Where is the person who lives here?" Sophie asked. "If this is a haunted house attraction, there should be someone jumping out to scare us." "Maybe they are waiting," Lucas said, building suspense. They continued exploring, moving into a hallway that led to several rooms. The hallway was even darker, lit only by a single weak bulb that flickered constantly. The walls were covered in peeling wallpaper. The floor creaked with every step. That was when they heard the voice. "Welcome," it said from somewhere ahead of them. The voice was deep and distorted, clearly altered by some kind of electronic device. "You have entered my domain. Now you must pay the price." Emma laughed nervously. "Okay, this is getting good." But Diego felt something was wrong. The voice did not sound like a Halloween performer. It sounded genuine. It sounded threatening. "Maybe we should leave," Diego said quietly. Before anyone could respond, a figure appeared at the end of the hallway. It was a man wearing a mask, but not a Halloween mask. It was a ski mask, the kind worn by criminals. He was holding something in his hand. In the dim light, it took a moment for the teenagers to realize what it was. It was a knife. "Give me everything you have," and the man said, his voice no longer distorted. "Wallets, phones, jewelry, put it all on the floor. Now." The 5 friends froze in shock. This was not a Halloween attraction. This was a robbery. They had walked into a trap. Bloco 3. The robbery and the killing time seemed to slow down as the 5 teenagers processed what was happening. This was not part of a Halloween experience. This was real danger. A real man with a real knife was threatening them in a house they should never have entered. Emma was the first to move. She reached into her small purse and pulled out her phone. "Here, take it. We do not want any trouble." The man in the ski mask moved closer, holding out a bag. "Put it in here, all of you, everything valuable." Sophie was trembling. She fumbled with her phone and placed it in the bag. "Please, we are just kids. We made a mistake. Let us go." "You will go when I am done," the man said coldly. "Wallets, jewelry, everything." Lucas slowly removed his wallet and his expensive camera from around his neck. The camera was worth several $1,000s. His father had given it to him as a gift. He placed both items in the bag, his hands shaking. Thomas was calculating. He was athletic. He was fast. He could potentially rush the man and disarm him. But the hallway was narrow. The man was positioned between them and the exit. Any attempt to fight could result in someone getting stabbed. Diego was thinking the same thing. His mind was racing through scenarios. Should they comply? Should they run? Should they fight? The man had a knife. But there were 5 of them. Surely they could overpower him if they acted together. But fear paralyzed them. Nobody moved except to hand over their belongings. The man collected phones, wallets, watches, and Lucas's camera. Then he noticed Sophie's necklace. It was a gold chain with a small pendant, a gift from her grandmother. "That too," the man said, pointing at the necklace with the knife. Sophie's hands went to her neck protectively. "Please, it was my grandmother's. It has sentimental value." "I do not care," the man said. "Take it off." Sophie's eyes filled with tears, but she began to unclasp the necklace. Her hands were shaking so badly that she struggled with the clasp. That was when Thomas made his move. He lunged forward, trying to grab the knife from the man's hand. It happened so fast that nobody had time to react. Thomas's hand closed around the man's wrist. The two of them struggled. The man tried to pull away, but Thomas held on. "Run!" Thomas shouted to the others. Emma screamed. Sophie stumbled backward. Diego and Lucas stood frozen, unable to process what was happening. The man twisted and drove his elbow into Thomas's stomach. Thomas gasped and loosened his grip slightly. The man pulled free and swung the knife in a wide arc. The blade sliced across Thomas's forearm, cutting through his werewolf costume and into his skin. Thomas cried out in pain and fell backward. The man advanced on him, knife raised, and then someone else moved. In the darkness and chaos, it was impossible to see clearly, but one of the 5 teenagers grabbed something from the floor, a piece of broken furniture, a wooden leg from a chair that had been lying among the debris. They swung it with all their strength at the man's head. There was a sickening crack. The man dropped the knife. He staggered. He fell to his knees. And then he collapsed face down on the floor. Complete silence. The 5 teenagers stood in the hallway, breathing heavily, staring at the motionless body on the floor. "Is he dead?" Emma whispered. Nobody answered. Lucas approached slowly and knelt beside the body. He checked for a pulse at the man's neck. His hand was shaking. After what felt like an eternity, he looked up at the others. "No pulse," Lucas said. "He is dead. Pause here and consider. Which of the 5 teenagers do you think picked up the chair leg and killed the man? Think about their personalities, their positions in the hallway, and their reactions. The clues are already there if you are paying attention." Sophie started hyperventilating. "We have to call the police. We have to call an ambulance. We have to—" "Wait," Diego said, his voice shaking. "Wait, let us think about this." "Think about what?" Sophie demanded. "We just killed someone. We need to call the authorities." "It was self-defense," Emma said. "He attacked us. He had a knife. Whoever hit him was protecting all of us." "That is right," Lucas said. "This was self-defense. Any court would understand that." But Thomas, still holding his bleeding arm, shook his head. "You do not understand how this works. We are immigrants. We have only been in this country for 1 month. Our families have work visas that can be revoked at any time. If we get involved in a killing, even if it is self-defense, it will destroy our family's ability to stay here." Diego nodded slowly. "He is right. Even if we are found innocent, the legal process could take years. Our families could be deported. Our parents could lose their jobs. So what are you suggesting?" Sophie asked, her voice rising in panic. "That we just leave him here? That we pretend this never happened?" "Nobody knows we were here," Thomas said quietly. "We did not tell anyone where we were going. There are no security cameras on this street. It is Halloween night. Hundreds of people are out in costumes. Nobody would be able to identify us." Emma was thinking. The door was already open when we arrived. Other people might have come here tonight. The police will think it was one of them. "We are not thinking clearly," Sophie said desperately. "We are in shock. We need to do the right thing. The right thing will destroy 5 families," Diego said. "Not just us, but our parents, our siblings, everyone." Lucas looked at the body. "We need to make a decision right now. Either we call the police and deal with the consequences, or we leave and never speak of this again." The 5 friends stood in the dark hallway, staring at each other, all of them terrified and uncertain. Finally, Emma spoke. "We leave. We collect our things from the bag. We leave everything else as it was. We go home. We never mention this to anyone." One by one, the others nodded in agreement. They retrieved their phones, wallets, and Lucas's camera from the bag. Thomas wrapped his wounded arm in part of his costume to stop the bleeding. They carefully stepped around the body and made their way back through the house to the open front door. Before leaving, Diego looked back one final time. The man in the ski mask was still lying motionless on the floor. Diego felt sick, but he followed the others out of the house. The five friends walked quickly away from Maple Street. They did not run, because running would attract attention. They walked at a brisk pace, removing their masks and trying to look as normal as possible. They separated once they reached the main neighborhood streets, each going to their own home. That night, lying in their beds, each of them replayed the events over and over. Each of them wondered who had actually delivered the fatal blow. The hallway had been dark. The movement had been fast. In the panic and confusion, none of them were completely certain who had grabbed the chair leg and swung it at the man's head. But one of them knew. One of them carried the secret of having taken a human life, and that secret would remain buried for exactly 1 year. 1 year of silence and the body discovered. The next morning, November 1st, 2023, the five friends woke up to a world that had not changed. The sun rose. People went to work. Children went to school. Halloween decorations came down from houses throughout the neighborhood. Life continued as if nothing had happened. But inside each of the five teenagers, something fundamental had shifted. They had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. They had been present at a death. They had made the choice to conceal it. And now they had to live with that choice. Thomas's arm was badly injured from the knife wound. He told his parents that he had fallen while climbing a fence during Halloween festivities and had cut himself on broken glass. His mother took him to the emergency room where he received 15 stitches. The doctor asked if he wanted to file a police report since the injury appeared to be from a sharp weapon, but Thomas insisted it was an accident and that he was embarrassed about his clumsiness. The other four friends went to school on November 1st and behaved as normally as possible. They saw each other in the hallways but did not speak. They avoided eye contact. They pretended to be strangers. For 3 days, nothing happened. The house on Maple Street remained undisturbed. No police cars appeared in the neighborhood. No news reports mentioned anything unusual. Then, on November 4th, a postal worker noticed mail accumulating at 1234 Maple Street and peered through a window. He saw what appeared to be a body lying on the floor and immediately called the police. Within hours, Maple Street was filled with police vehicles, crime scene investigators, and news reporters. The five friends watched the coverage on television and on social media with mounting terror. The news reports identified the dead man as Richard Holbrook, 47 years old, a resident of the house where he was found. He had an extensive criminal record including robbery, assault, and fraud. Police determined that he had been using the open door on Halloween night to lure trick-or-treaters into his house, where he would rob them at knife point. The medical examiner determined that Richard Holbrook had died from blunt force trauma to the head, consistent with being struck by a heavy object. Police found the wooden chair leg near the body and collected it as evidence. They also found the ski mask, the knife, and a bag containing several stolen items from other victims who had been robbed earlier that same night. Detective Maria Santos was assigned to the case. She was a veteran investigator with 23 years of experience in the Broward County Sheriff's Office. She was known for her meticulous attention to detail and her ability to solve difficult cases. Detective Santos interviewed neighbors on Maple Street. Several people reported seeing groups of teenagers walking in the area on Halloween night, but nobody could provide specific descriptions. Everyone had been wearing costumes. Everyone had been wearing masks. It was impossible to identify individuals. Police searched the house for fingerprints. They found dozens of partial prints from multiple people, but the prints were smudged and contaminated by dust and debris. None matched any records in criminal databases. Detective Santos held a press conference and appealed to the public. "We believe that several young people entered this house on Halloween night and were confronted by Mr. Holbrook, who attempted to rob them. One of these individuals defended themselves and struck Mr. Holbrook with a blunt object, causing fatal injuries. We do not believe this was a premeditated murder. We believe this was a case of self-defense. We are asking anyone who was at this location on Halloween night to come forward. You are not in trouble. We understand you were defending yourselves. We simply need to close this investigation properly." The five friends watched this press conference together in Emma's living room. They had finally agreed to meet after avoiding each other for 4 days. "She is lying," Diego said quietly. "They always say you are not in trouble to get you to confess. Once you come forward, they will charge you with manslaughter or murder." "What if she is telling the truth?" Sophie asked. "What if this really is just a self-defense case and we could walk away with no consequences?" "We cannot take that risk," Thomas said, his bandaged arm resting in his lap. "My family already had to explain my injury to the immigration authorities. If I come forward now and admit I was involved in a killing, My entire family will be deported. Emma was pacing. We agreed to keep this secret. We all agreed. We cannot change our minds now. Lucas was the quietest. He had barely spoken since Halloween night. He looked traumatized, his eyes distant and haunted. "Are you okay?" Emma asked him. Lucas nodded slowly, but said nothing. Over the following weeks, the investigation continued but produced no breakthroughs. Detective Santos interviewed hundreds of people. She reviewed security footage from surrounding neighborhoods but found nothing useful. The case went cold. By December, the news coverage stopped. By January, most people in the community had forgotten about Richard Holbrook entirely. By February, the house on Maple Street was sold to a property developer who planned to demolish it and build something new. But the five friends could not forget. They tried to return to normal life. They attended school. They studied for exams. They applied to universities. But the secret hung over them like a dark cloud. They rarely spoke to each other anymore. When they did interact, it was awkward and strained. The friendship that had been so strong in September was now fractured and damaged beyond repair. Thomas became more aggressive and short-tempered. He got into fights at school. His grades declined. His soccer scholarship offers were withdrawn after he was suspended for punching another student. Sophie became withdrawn and anxious. She developed insomnia and could not sleep more than a few hours each night. She began seeing a therapist but could not tell the therapist the real source of her anxiety. Emma became obsessed with true crime podcasts and documentaries about unsolved murders. She would spend hours researching criminal investigations and legal procedures, as if trying to understand whether they would ever be caught. Lucas stopped taking photographs. His camera sat unused in his room. He lost interest in art and creativity. He became quiet and isolated, spending most of his time alone. Diego threw himself into his computer science studies with obsessive intensity. He stopped socializing entirely and spent all his free time coding and working on projects. It was his way of avoiding thoughts about Halloween night. The school year ended. Summer arrived. The five friends graduated from high school. They were all accepted to universities in different states. Thomas was going to the University of Texas. Sophie was going to MIT. Emma was going to University of California, Los Angeles. Lucas was going to the School of Visual Arts in New York. Diego was going to Stanford. They would all be leaving Florida in August, scattering across the country, likely never to see each other again. But before they left, there was one final gathering. Bloco 5, the barbecue. 1 year later, it was October 29th, 2024, almost exactly 1 year after Halloween night. The five families had maintained their friendships despite the tension among the teenagers. The parents had become close colleagues and friends, unaware of the secret that their children carried. Emma's parents decided to host a farewell barbecue for all five families before the teenagers left for their respective universities. It was meant to be a celebration, a final gathering before everyone went their separate ways. The barbecue was held in Emma's large backyard. There were tables set up with food and drinks. The parents gathered near the grill, talking about work and their upcoming projects. Younger siblings ran around playing games. The five teenagers sat separately at a picnic table far from the adults, not speaking to each other. The atmosphere among them was tense and uncomfortable. Emma's father, Richard Thornton, made a toast. "I want to thank everyone for making this year so wonderful. Moving to a new country is never easy, but having friends like you has made it feel like home. I want to especially acknowledge our five graduates who are heading off to start their university adventures. We are so proud of all of you." Everyone clapped. The parents smiled at their children, but the five teenagers looked miserable. After the meal, as the sun began to set and the adults continued their conversations, Emma finally broke the silence among the group. "We need to talk," she said quietly. The others looked at her. "About what?" Thomas asked, though he knew exactly what she meant. "About Halloween," Emma said. "It has been 1 year. Tomorrow is Halloween again, and I cannot take this anymore. I cannot keep pretending that nothing happened." Sophie's face went pale. "What are you saying?" "I am saying that we need to figure out who actually killed that man," Emma said. "We need to know which one of us did it." "Why does it matter?" Diego asked. "We all agreed to keep it secret. Identifying who did it does not change anything. It matters because I think about it every single day," Emma said, her voice rising slightly. "I think about it every morning when I wake up and every night before I go to sleep. I need to know the truth." Thomas leaned forward. "And what will you do with that truth, Emma? Will you turn that person into the police? Will you destroy their life? and potentially all of our lives? I do not know, Emma admitted, but I need to know. We all need to know. Lucas finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. Maybe we should just let it stay buried. I agree with Lucas, Sophie said. Digging this up again will only cause more pain. We should move on. How can we move on when none of us can even look each other in the eye anymore? Emma demanded. Our friendship is destroyed. Our lives are destroyed. And for what? To protect someone who might not even deserve protection? We all deserve protection, Diego said. We were all victims that night. We were all in danger. Whoever killed that man did it to save all of us. Did they? Emma challenged. Or did they do it out of panic, out of fear, out of anger? We do not actually know what was going through their mind when they picked up that chair leg and smashed it into his skull. The description was graphic and intentional. Emma wanted to force everyone to confront the reality of what had happened. Thomas stood up. I am not having this conversation. If you want to confess to the police, Emma, then do it, but leave the rest of us out of it. He started to walk away, but Emma called after him. Where were you standing, Thomas? When it happened, where were you standing? Thomas stopped and turned around slowly. What are you implying? I'm not implying anything, Emma said. I'm asking a factual question. Where were you standing in the hallway when the man fell? I was on the floor, Thomas said coldly. He had just slashed my arm with a knife. I was bleeding and in pain. I could not have been the one who hit him. Unless you grabbed the chair leg after you fell, Emma suggested. Unless you hit him from the ground. Thomas's face flushed with anger. You are accusing me. I was the one who tried to save us. I was the one who grabbed his knife. I was the one who got hurt trying to protect everyone. And now you think I am the killer? I am not accusing anyone, Emma said, though her tone suggested otherwise. I am just trying to understand what happened. Sophie interrupted. This is insane. We cannot do this. We cannot start accusing each other. Why not? Emma asked. One of us did it. One of us is lying. One of us knows exactly what happened but has been pretending not to remember. Diego stood up and faced Emma directly. You are the one who wanted to go into that house. You are the one who convinced us to ignore our instincts and walk through that door. If anyone is responsible for what happened, it is you. Emma's eyes widened. So you are blaming me? I did not kill him. How do we know that? Diego challenged. You were standing right behind Thomas. You could have easily grabbed the chair leg and swung it. I was terrified. Emma shot back. I was frozen in fear. I could barely breathe, let alone pick up a weapon and kill someone. Lucas stood up abruptly. Stop. All of you, just stop. This is exactly what we agreed not to do. We are turning on each other. We are destroying whatever is left of our friendship. What friendship? Thomas said bitterly. Our friendship ended the moment we walked out of that house and decided to lie. We have been strangers for a year. We have been avoiding each other, lying to our parents, lying to ourselves. Because we had to, Lucas said desperately. We made a choice to protect our families. That choice required sacrifice. And I am tired of sacrificing, Emma said. I am tired of carrying this guilt. I am tired of wondering if the person sitting next to me in school is a murderer. The word hung in the air like a bomb. Murderer, Sophie repeated quietly. Is that what you think we are? Murderers? One of us is, Emma said. Self-defense or not, one of us took a human life. And until we know who, we are all living under suspicion. Pause here and reflect. Have you revised your theory about who the killer is? Pay attention to who is defensive, who is trying to calm the situation, and who is deflecting blame onto others. Bloso 6. The accusations begin. The 5 friends sat in tense silence after Emma's accusation hung in the air. The word murderer seemed to echo through the evening. In the distance, they could hear their parents laughing and talking, completely unaware of the confrontation happening in the darkened corner of the yard. Sophie was the first to speak. Emma, I understand you are frustrated, but accusing us of being murderers is not going to help anyone. We all made a choice together. We all agreed to keep it secret. You cannot suddenly decide to make someone else the villain just because you have changed your mind. I have not changed my mind about keeping it secret, Emma said. I have changed my mind about letting whoever did it believe they can just move on without consequence. If you killed someone, even in self-defense, you should have to face what you did. You should have to own it. Thomas was shaking his head. And what does owning it look like, Emma? Confessing to the police? Going to prison? Destroying our families? Maybe, Emma said. Or maybe it just means finally being honest with each other. Carrying this secret alone has destroyed us. Maybe carrying it together, knowing who the person is and understanding why they did it, would at least let us start healing. Diego spoke quietly. You want to know who it was because you think it might have been you. You have been wondering ever since that night if you were the one who grabbed the chair leg. And now you are trying to force one of us to confess so that you can stop wondering about yourself. Emma's face flushed. That is not fair. Is it not? Diego challenged. You are the one who pushed us to go into that house. You are the one who said it would be fun and memorable. You are the one who stood between the attacker and the door. You are the one who would have had the easiest opportunity to grab something and swing it. I was terrified, Emma repeated. I could not even move. That is what you have been telling yourself for a year, Diego continued. But do you actually remember what you were doing in the dark? Do you actually remember your exact position and movements? Or have you been rearranging the memory to make sure you are not the killer? Emma stood up abruptly. I did not kill him. I know for certain that I did not kill him because I remember being too afraid to move. Convenient, Diego said. If anyone is suspicious, it should be you, Emma shot back. You were standing right next to the attacker. You could have grabbed the chair leg from the floor. Actually, I was near the middle of the hallway, Diego said. The chair leg was on the ground at the end of the hallway. I would have had to push past everyone to reach it, Thomas interjected. So you remember the exact geography of the hallway? You remember exactly where everything was in the darkness? Diego hesitated. Not exactly, but I have a general memory. We all have general memories, Sophie said, and general memories are unreliable. Studies show that traumatic events actually distort memory. We cannot trust our recollections of what happened that night. Lucas finally spoke up. Maybe that is the point. Maybe we should not be trying to figure out who did it based on faulty memories and speculation. Maybe we should accept that one of us did something to save all of us, and we should just be grateful that we are all alive. Grateful? Thomas repeated bitterly. I am not grateful, I am angry. I am angry that we had to run away from that house. I am angry that we let a criminal die without justice. I am angry that my entire family's future depends on keeping this secret. Your family's future does not depend on this, Lucas said. The investigation is over. The case is closed. Richard Holbrook is dead and buried. The only way your family is in danger is if one of us confesses, which you clearly think is about to happen, Thomas said, glaring at Emma. Emma was frustrated by the circular conversation. Can we please just talk about this logically? One of us hit him. One of us caused his death. That person is walking around pretending nothing happened and the rest of us are suffering. Maybe that person needs to suffer too, Sophie said quietly. Maybe we are all suffering because we all participated in this crime. We did not all commit the crime, Emma said firmly. One of us did. We all concealed the crime, Sophie countered. We all walked out of that house and decided to cover it up. We are all equally guilty of obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and being accessories after the fact. In the eyes of the law, we are all culpable. The legal reality of their situation hung heavy. They had all made the choice to flee and conceal. They were all technically guilty of crimes regardless of who had actually struck the fatal blow. Diego spoke very carefully. Let me be absolutely clear about something. I did not kill Richard Holbrook. I know with certainty that I did not kill him because I remember exactly what I was doing when it happened. And what were you doing? Emma asked. I was trying to run, Diego said. I was moving toward the back of the hallway, away from the attacker. I was not thinking about fighting back. I was thinking about escape. Convenient, Emma said, echoing Diego's earlier word. It is the truth, Diego said firmly. I was a coward that night. I was so terrified that I was trying to run. That is something I have had to live with for a year, but it means I am also not the killer. Thomas was now glaring at Emma with deep suspicion. If you are trying to identify the killer, then you need to consider everyone. You need to consider Lucas. Lucas looked shocked. What? I had nothing to do with it. Did you? Thomas asked. You were there with your camera. You were taking photographs. Were you taking photographs of the fight? Or were you taking photographs of something else? I was terrified, Lucas said, his voice shaking. I was not taking any photographs during the actual attack. I only took a few photos of the house after we entered before the man appeared. That is convenient too, Thomas said. What happened to those photographs? Where are they? Lucas looked confused. I deleted them. After we left the house, I realized that if anyone found them and traced them to me, they would prove I was there, so I deleted them. You deleted evidence, Thomas said. You destroyed photographs that could have helped solve the case. We all destroyed evidence, Lucas protested. We all concealed our involvement. We all chose to lie. Sophie interrupted. Can we please stop attacking each other? This is exactly what divided us. We start blaming each other instead of supporting each other. Supporting each other? Emma said coldly. You mean supporting whoever committed the murder? No, Sophie said. I mean supporting each other as friends who made a difficult choice in an impossible situation. Yes, someone killed a man, but that man was a criminal who was robbing us and threatening us with a knife. Whoever killed him did it because they felt endangered. Whoever killed him deserves our understanding, not our judgment. That is a very convenient position to take, Emma said. If you were the one who killed him. Sophie's eyes widened. Are you accusing me? Me specifically? I am not accusing anyone specifically, Emma said. I am pointing out that everyone is being suspicious and defensive. Everyone is making arguments that position them as innocent and others as guilty. Because we are all innocent, Lucas said desperately. We are all innocent teenagers who made a mistake by entering a dangerous house on Halloween night. We are all victims of Richard Holbrook's violence, and whoever hit him in self-defense, not out of malice. Thomas stood up again. I cannot do this anymore, I am leaving. I am not going to sit here and be accused of being a murderer. Where are you going? Emma asked. To the police, Thomas said. I am going to confess everything. I am going to tell them what happened. Sophie grabbed his arm. Thomas, wait. Do not do this. Why not? Thomas demanded. According to Emma, one of us should confess. Maybe it should be me. Maybe I should take responsibility for all of us. Because you did not do it, Emma said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. How do you know? Thomas asked. Because I was looking at you when it happened, Emma said. You were on the ground after the attacker slashed you. You were bleeding and in pain. You could not possibly have been the one who grabbed the chair leg and swung it. Then who was it? Thomas demanded. Emma looked directly at Lucas. It was him. It was Lucas. Bloco 7. The truth emerges. The revelation hung in the darkness of the Florida evening. All eyes turned to Lucas, who suddenly looked very small and vulnerable sitting at the picnic table. That is absurd, Lucas said, but his voice was barely above a whisper. Is it? Emma asked. You were standing right next to the attacker when it happened. You were between him and the rest of us. When Thomas fell to the ground after being slashed, the attacker was standing over him, about to deliver another blow. Lucas was shaking his head. I do not know what you are talking about. You grabbed the chair leg from the floor, Emma continued. It was lying among the debris in the hallway. You picked it up and you swung it at his head. You hit him as hard as you could, and then you helped us flee the house. You are making this up, Lucas said, but his hands were trembling. I am not making it up, Emma said. I watched it happen. I saw you pick up the chair leg. I saw you swing it. I saw him fall, and for a year, I have been wondering if I should report you to the police. Sophie was looking at Emma with concern. Emma, how could you have seen that in the darkness? You said yourself that the hallway was too dark to see clearly. It was dark, Emma admitted, but not completely dark. There was a flicker of light from the hallway bulb, and I saw him. I saw Lucas move. I saw the wooden leg in his hands. I saw him swing. Lucas stood up abruptly. You are wrong. You are remembering it wrong. You did not see what you think you saw. Then what did I see? Emma asked. I do not know, Lucas said desperately. But I know I did not kill that man. Thomas was studying Lucas intently. You are lying. You have been lying for a year. I can see it in your face right now. I am not lying, Lucas insisted, but his voice cracked. Diego stood up and walked over to Lucas. Look at me, Lucas. Look me in the eye and tell me that you did not kill Richard Holbrook. Lucas tried to meet Diego's eyes but could not. He looked away. You cannot do it, Diego said quietly. You cannot look me in the eye and deny it because you are guilty. Just because I cannot look someone in the eye does not mean I am guilty, Lucas protested. That is not evidence. That is not proof. You stopped taking photographs after that night, Sophie said, remembering. You loved photography. It was your passion. And then suddenly after Halloween you stopped completely. You did not use your camera for months. That is not unusual, Lucas said. Interests change. Your interest in photography did not change, Sophie continued. You stopped because you associated your camera with that night. You had been using it to document what you thought was a fun Halloween adventure, and then everything changed. You are all making assumptions, Lucas said, looking desperately at each of them. You are putting together pieces of circumstantial evidence and creating a narrative that fits what you want to believe. Emma stood up and walked over to face Lucas directly. I know it was you because of what happened after. When we ran out of that house, I looked back. I saw you standing in the doorway. You had this expression on your face. It was not fear. It was shock. It was the shock of someone who had just realized what they had done. Someone who had just taken a human life. Lucas's eyes filled with tears. You do not know what you are talking about. I do, Emma said firmly. And deep down, you know that I know. That is why you have been avoiding all of us. That is why you stopped doing everything you loved. You have been living with the guilt and the terror that one of us would eventually figure out the truth. Lucas sat back down slowly. The other 4 friends surrounded him, waiting for him to speak. The silence stretched out for what felt like an eternity. Finally, Lucas spoke so quietly that they could barely hear him. It happened so fast. I did not decide to do it. I did not plan it. It just happened. The admission hung in the air. Tell us, Emma said gently, sitting down beside him. Tell us what happened. Lucas took a shaky breath. When Thomas fell, when the attacker slashed him, I thought he was going to die. I thought the man was going to stab him again and kill him. And something inside me just broke. I did not think. I did not calculate. I just reacted. You grabbed the chair leg, Sophie said. I grabbed it, Lucas confirmed. It was right there on the floor, and I grabbed it and I swung it with everything I had. I wanted to stop him. I wanted to save Thomas. I wanted to save all of us. And you killed him, Diego said. I did not mean to kill him, Lucas said, tears now streaming down his face. I just wanted to stop him. I wanted to disarm him. I wanted to make him stop attacking us. I did not think about the consequences. I did not think about what would happen if I hit him too hard. Thomas was now looking at Lucas with a complex mix of emotions. You saved my life. You hit him before he could stab me again. You stopped him. I killed him, Lucas repeated. I took a human life. Even if he was a criminal, even if he was attacking us, I killed him. And I have been living with that knowledge for an entire year. Why did you not tell us? Sophie asked. Because I was terrified, Lucas said. I was terrified that one of you would report me to the police. I was terrified that you would blame me for it. I was terrified that my family would be deported because I was involved in a killing. I thought if I could just keep it secret and pretend it did not happen, then maybe I could move on with my life. But you could not move on, Emma said. That is why you stopped photography. That is why you withdrew from all of us. That is why you have been miserable all year. Yes, Lucas said. I could not move on because I knew what I had done. And I knew that one day someone would figure it out. Diego sat down next to Lucas. You should have told us. You should have trusted us to understand. I did not know if you would understand, Lucas said. I did not know if you would blame me or if you would support me. I was so afraid that I just chose to isolate myself instead. The police closed the case, Sophie said. They decided it was self-defense, but they could not identify the perpetrator. Even if you confess now, you would be treated as acting in self-defense. Would I? Lucas asked. Or would the fact that I fled the scene and concealed the crime for a year be held against me? I do not know what the legal consequences would be. That is the real question, Thomas said. Whether Lucas comes forward or continues to carry this secret. What are the actual legal consequences of what happened? Pause here and consider. Now that you know the killer is Lucas, does that change your moral judgment of what happened? Is he a murderer or a teenager who acted in self-defense? Should he confess to the police or continue to live with the secret? Bloco 8. The Moral Reckoning. The 5 friends sat together in the darkness of Emma's backyard as the evening deepened. Inside the house, they could hear their parents continuing their conversations, still unaware of the confrontation that had just taken place. Lucas's confession had shifted everything. The mystery was solved. The secret was revealed. But rather than bringing resolution, it had opened up new questions about justice, responsibility, and the consequences of their choices. We need to decide what happens next, Emma said. Lucas has confessed to us. The question now is whether we report him to the police or whether we continue to keep this secret. If we report him, we report ourselves too, Diego said. We are all accessories after the fact. We all concealed a crime. We all fled the scene. We could all face charges. But we did not kill anyone, Sophie pointed out. Lucas is the only one who committed the act that ended someone's life. In self-defense, Thomas reminded them. Lucas was defending me. He was defending all of us. The attacker had a knife and was actively attacking us. But he did not have to hit him that hard, Diego said. He could have hit him once to disarm him, and then we could have all run away. Instead, he hit him multiple times, or hard enough to cause fatal injuries. I do not know how many times I hit him, Lucas said quietly. It was dark. I was terrified. I have no memory of exactly what I did or how many times I did it. Emma turned to Sophie. What would a lawyer say? If Lucas turned himself in and explained that it was self-defense, what would happen? Sophie was studying advanced mathematics and physics, not law, but she had done some research over the past year. Self-defense is a valid legal defense if you reasonably believe that you or someone else was in immediate danger of death or serious bodily harm. The question a court would have to answer is whether Lucas's belief was reasonable and whether his response was proportional to the threat. That sounds like he could potentially be acquitted, Thomas said. Potentially, Sophie said. But the fact that he fled the scene and concealed the crime for a year would work against him. A court might interpret that as an indication that he did not genuinely believe he was acting in self-defense. Otherwise, why would he run and hide? Because we are immigrants, Lucas said. Because we were terrified of what would happen to our families. Because we did not understand the American legal system. Those are the reasons we ran and hid. Not because we thought we were guilty. Those are reasons that a lawyer could argue, Sophie said. Whether a judge would accept those reasons is another question. Diego was thinking through the practical implications. If Lucas confesses, the police will investigate thoroughly. They will interview all of us. They will try to determine whether we are telling the truth about self-defense or whether something else happened. They might charge Lucas with manslaughter or even murder. He could face years in prison, but he will not be living with the secret anymore, Emma said. He will not be isolated and traumatized. He will not be going to university carrying the guilt of what he did. He will be going to prison instead, Diego pointed out. That is arguably worse than carrying guilt. Lucas looked at each of his friends. I appreciate that you are trying to protect me, but Emma is right. I cannot keep living like this. I cannot move forward with my life knowing that I have lied to everyone, including myself. You cannot move forward if you are in prison either, Diego said bluntly. Maybe that is what I deserve, Lucas said. Maybe I need to face consequences for what I did. No, Thomas said firmly. You do not deserve that. You acted to save my life and the lives of everyone there. You acted under extreme duress in a moment of terror. You should not be punished for that. But I have been punished, Lucas said. I have been punished every single day for a year. I have been isolated and traumatized and unable to move forward. How is that not punishment? It is not legal punishment, Sophie said. It is psychological punishment. But from what you are describing, it sounds like the psychological punishment might actually be worse than serving time for a crime you committed in self-defense. Emma was considering the practical reality of their situation. The case is already closed. The police have not identified the killer. If Lucas confesses now, 1 year after the fact, he risks reopening an investigation that might not have any remaining physical evidence. But Lucas's conscience is not at rest, Diego said. He cannot move forward with his life while carrying this secret. Many people live with secrets, Sophie said. They carry them for their entire lives. It is not ideal, but it is possible. I do not want to be one of those people, Lucas said. I do not want to spend the rest of my life lying to everyone I meet. I do not want to go to university and make new friends and have relationships, all while hiding what I did. I cannot do that. Then what are you saying? Emma asked gently. Are you saying you want to confess to the police? I do not know, Lucas said, overwhelmed. I do not know what I want. I just know that I cannot keep doing what I have been doing. I cannot keep pretending to be normal when I have this inside me. Thomas put his hand on Lucas's shoulder. Whatever you decide, I will support you. We all will. You saved my life that night. You protected me. I will not let you face consequences alone for that. That is generous, Lucas said. But if I confess to the police, you might all face charges too. You cannot protect me without risking your own legal jeopardy. Then we all confess, Emma said. We all go to the police together and tell them exactly what happened. That is not wise, Diego protested. That maximizes the risk for all of us. But it is the right thing, Emma said. We all participated in this. We all made the choice to conceal it. We should all face the consequences. Sophie was looking at the bigger picture. Before we do anything, we should consult with a lawyer. We should understand what the legal consequences might be. Lucas especially needs to know whether confessing would result in prosecution or whether he might be protected by the self-defense doctrine. How would we even find a lawyer who would advise us on this? Diego asked. We cannot go to a public defender because they work for the court. We would need to find a private attorney who specializes in criminal defense. My parents have a lawyer who handles their business matters, Emma said. I could ask them for a criminal defense attorney referral. And how would you explain why you need a criminal defense attorney? Diego asked. Your parents would immediately know something is wrong. I would tell them the truth, Emma said. They deserve to know. Our families deserve to know. If our families know, they will tell the police, Diego said. They will not want us going to prison. They will try to distance themselves from us to protect their immigration status. That is not fair to our families, Lucas said. They should have the choice to know what happened. They should not have to carry our secret. Sophie was now seeing the situation clearly. This decision affects not just us, but our families, our futures, our legal rights, and the truth about what happened that night. We cannot make this decision quickly or emotionally. We need to think carefully and consult with professionals who understand both criminal law and immigration law. So what do we do? Thomas asked. We agree to a timeline, Sophie said. We agree to give ourselves until the end of the summer, before everyone goes off to different universities. In that time, we each consult independently with lawyers or counselors who can advise us. We gather information, and then before we scatter, we meet again and make a final decision together. A final decision about what? Diego asked. A final decision about whether Lucas confesses to the police and whether the rest of us go with him, Sophie said. But we make that decision based on full information and careful consideration, not based on emotion and panic at a barbecue. The other 4 friends considered this proposal. It felt wise and measured compared to the emotional intensity of the moment. I agree, Emma said. I agree too, Thomas said, squeezing Lucas's shoulder. Diego looked reluctant, but nodded. I agree. But I think we should also agree to something else. We should agree that if one of us reports the others to the police before we have made our collective decision, we have betrayed each other. Agreed, Sophie said immediately. The others nodded. And one more thing, Lucas said quietly. I need to apologize. I need to apologize for lying to all of you for a year. I need to apologize for isolating myself and breaking our friendship. And I need to thank you for helping me face the truth. Emma pulled Lucas into a hug. The other 3 friends joined in, and for the first time in a year, the 5 of them felt something like unity and support. Bloco 9. The Summer of Truth and Consequences. Over the following months, each of the 5 friends pursued their own path of understanding and healing. Lucas hired a criminal defense attorney through an online referral service. The attorney, a woman named Sarah Cohen who specialized in youth cases, advised Lucas about his options. She explained that while self-defense was a valid legal defense, fleeing the scene and concealing the crime for a year would significantly complicate his case. She estimated that if Lucas confessed and took his case to trial, there was approximately a 60% chance he would be acquitted based on the self-defense doctrine. But there was also a 40% chance that a judge or jury would view his conduct as inconsistent with genuine self-defense and could convict him of manslaughter or even murder. If he confessed and entered a guilty plea to manslaughter, he would likely receive a sentence of between 5 and 15 years in prison, depending on the judge's assessment of the circumstances. These were sobering numbers, but they gave Lucas concrete information about what confession would entail. Emma consulted with her family's lawyer and eventually told her parents the truth about what had happened on Halloween night. Her parents were initially shocked and angry, but after Lucas's criminal attorney explained the legal situation, they became supportive of Lucas. They had been wealthy enough in England, and they maintained that wealth in America. They offered to pay for Lucas's legal defense if he chose to confess. Sophie consulted with an immigration attorney through a legal aid society and learned that confession to a crime of violence, even one committed in self-defense, could potentially affect the immigration status of the entire family. The immigration lawyer advised the family to consult with an immigration specialist before Lucas made any public confession. Thomas told his parents what happened, and his father, who was a business executive but also a pragmatist, advised that they consult with both a criminal attorney and an immigration attorney before Lucas confessed. He offered his support and his financial resources to help Lucas navigate the legal system. Diego initially kept the information secret, but as the weeks passed, the guilt of knowing the truth became unbearable. He eventually told his parents, and they were deeply troubled by the situation. They consulted with lawyers and learned that Diego himself could potentially face charges as an accessory after the fact for helping to conceal the crime. Lucas carried the weight of knowing that his confession could potentially harm not just himself, but his 4 best friends and all of their families. By mid-August, as the summer came to an end and the 5 friends prepared to depart for their respective universities, they arranged one final meeting before dispersing. Bloco 10. The final decision and the aftermath. The 5 friends met at a park near the airport on August 28, 2024. In just a few days, they would all be leaving Florida. Thomas was heading to Texas, Sophie to Massachusetts, Emma to California, Lucas to New York, Diego to California, to Stanford, where he had decided to go instead of a different school. They sat on a picnic bench overlooking a lake, and Lucas spoke first. "I have decided what I am going to do," he said quietly. The other 4 waited. "I have talked to my lawyer. I have talked to my parents. I have talked to immigration attorneys. And I have decided that I am not going to confess to the police," Lucas said. The relief that washed over the group was palpable, though it was mixed with something more complex. "Why?" Emma asked. "Because confessing would not serve justice," Lucas said. "Richard Holbrook was a criminal who robbed and assaulted people. His death stopped him from harming anyone else. If I confess and go to prison, it does not bring him back. It does not make anything right. It just destroys my life, and potentially the lives of everyone here and our families." "But you killed someone," Diego said gently. "Carrying that secret for the rest of your life is a heavy burden." "I know," Lucas said, "and I will carry it. I have already been carrying it for a year, and I will continue to carry it. But I have realized something. Confessing does not absolve me of that burden. It just transfers it from me to everyone I love. I cannot do that." Sophie reached over and took Lucas's hand. "What will you do? At university and beyond?" "I will live my life," Lucas said. "I will take photographs again. I will pursue my passion. I will try to create beauty in the world as a way of compensating for the violence I committed. I will be kind to people. I will help others. And I will carry the knowledge of what I did as a silent weight that reminds me of the importance of every choice I make." Thomas was crying. "I owe you my life, Lucas. I want you to know that. Whatever you decide, I will carry that debt forever." "Do not carry it as a debt," Lucas said. "Carry it as a shared experience that binds us together. We all entered that house together. We all faced danger together. We all made choices together. One of us had to make a choice that involved violence. And the rest of you have borne the burden of that knowledge. That connects us in a way that cannot be broken." Emma was also crying. "I am sorry for forcing you to confess. I am sorry for putting you through this." "Do not apologize," Lucas said. "I needed to confess to you. I needed to tell the truth to the people I care about most. I just do not need to confess to the police." Diego nodded slowly. "This is your choice to make, and I respect it." We all respect it. The 5 friends sat together in the August heat, looking out at the lake, each carrying their own version of the secret that would bind them together forever. In the weeks and months that followed, the 5 friends scattered to different universities across the country. They texted occasionally. They video called on holidays. They tried to maintain their friendship, but distance and time made it difficult. By senior year of university, they had largely drifted apart. They had different friend groups, different majors, different lives. Lucas never became a famous photographer, but he maintained a successful career, creating images that documented human moments of beauty and connection. He never told anyone outside of that initial circle what had happened on Halloween night 2023. Detective Maria Santos retired from the Broward County Sheriff's Office without ever solving the case of Richard Holbrook's death. It remained one of the few unsolved murders in her career, and she never stopped wondering who had killed him or why they had chosen to disappear into silence. The house on Maple Street was demolished in 2025, and a new building was constructed on the lot. Within a few years, no physical trace of what had happened there remained, but inside Lucas, the memory never faded. Every Halloween, he thought about the night that changed everything. He thought about Thomas falling to the floor after being cut. He thought about the moment he picked up the chair leg. He thought about the moment the man fell and the terrible silence that followed. And he lived with the knowledge that he had committed an act that saved his friends' lives but also took another life, forever weighing on his conscience, the destructive secret.